We're past being in the off-season. At this point, we are officially in the deep off-season. And you know you're in the deep off-season when you turn on the TV and sports analysts are talking about the exact same topics every single day. They'll just give it a little twist or change their opinion to keep things interesting and fresh when really that thing's as stale as the moldy bread that I had for lunch today. In reality, as soon as the NBA finals are over, and they've been over for several weeks at this point, you enter the dark, deep chasm in the sports world known as the deep off-season. So here I have for you a list for any sports fan watching this and just searching for some purpose in their life, looking for a reason to get out of bed, looking for something to latch onto like a newborn baby suckling on his mother's bosom. Here's the list of the top things all sports fans should do in the off-season. Coming in at number 1, we have rewatching old games. Now I know what you're thinking, why would I want to watch games that I've already watched? Why would I want to relive the old season when I want to look forward to the future? But I think you're thinking about it in the wrong way. Whether you're primarily an NBA watcher or an NFL watcher, you can still go back, watch some of your favorite games from last year, kind of relive the experience, and get excited for games to come in the future. Watch it back, get yourself excited for when the fall comes. You can alternatively look at it as a way of learning the game. Break out the All-22, comb through the footage, look at what your players on your team are doing good and bad, and kind of diagnose it and hope for what better things they can do in the future. Surprise your dad when you're watching football on Sunday and you say, did you know that Dak Prescott's actually the worst quarterback in the NFL? And if your dad's a real trooper, he'd probably say something like, son, I knew that before you were even born. Next up on the list, pick up the sport that you want to watch this upcoming season. Again, whether you're into football or basketball, just because it's summer doesn't mean you can't play those sports. In fact, now's the best time. If you're out of school, if you have a summer job, whatever the case may be, get friends together, go out in the evenings, once a week, twice a week, and just play ball. There's nothing more rewarding and refreshing than watching a game, watching an entire season of football or basketball, and then having your own team, playing that position that you watch on TV every single week. There is no better feeling even if you're awful at sports. Alright, next up we have pick up a recreational yeah, that is something else. That's a different list, a very different list. Darn. Yeah, I don't know how that snuck in there. Okay. Alright, moving on. The actual next item on the list is get off of TikTok. This applies to not just TikTok, but also just sports news in general. You're gonna spend a whole lot of time scrolling through TikTok for more sports news, trades that happen, free agency signings. It's good to keep track of that stuff. You definitely want to have a tab on what your team's doing, but don't get so wrapped up in it that you're refreshing your phone every single 5 minutes just to see if your team finally signed LeBron. It's not happening, buddy. He's staying with the Lakers. Alright, the next item on the list is start a fantasy football league. I know what you're thinking. It's the deep offseason. There's no football to fantasize about. My advice to you is to start way early than anyone else. Get your people together that you want to have in your league and really make it as official as you can. Work on making it an enjoyable experience instead of some last minute thrown together league that is not well organized. Which, speaking of fantasy football, we will be having a fantasy football league featured by this channel. There's a link to my Discord in the description below. If you want to be part of this season's fantasy football league, jump into the Discord, make it known to me that you want to join the league. We'll have a draft, we'll have weekly roundups. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be great. Alright, next up is sleep through the entire offseason. Now, whenever I do this, and I haven't done it often, but when I do it, I try to model my game after the brown bear. Now, the brown bear, or pretty much any other mammal that feeds on berries and leaves and sleeps in the ground and in the bushes and trees in the forest, they eat a lot of food and then they go to sleep and they just hibernate through the winter. That's what you're gonna do, but instead of hibernating through the winter, you're gonna hibernate through the summer. We all know there's no sports going on in the summer. There's nothing going on. So why worry yourself and keep yourself awake? Just go to sleep. Especially if you don't have a summer job or if you don't have friends, like I'm sure most of you don't. There's no reason to be awake, so be asleep and hope that the fall comes sooner. Alright, next up, you gotta glaze LeBron. Now, glazing LeBron is something that everyone can do, whether you're a Lakers fan, a Cavs fan, Heat fan, or not. Everyone should glaze LeBron. You might think that you're gonna sleep through the summer. You might think that you're gonna goon through the summer. No. Put down the gooning, wake yourself up, and just glaze LeBron all day. Alright, next up, you're gonna try to pick up a recreational drug. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but picking up a recreational drug like Dr. Pepper, it just really works. It helps your system run a lot better. Your mind is as clear as your car windshield, and you can just see things for what things really are. All right, next up, you're going to commit arson at MLB games. Now, if you haven't noticed throughout this video, I haven't mentioned anything about baseball being in season, and that's because for all I care, they're not in season. And actually, for all I care, the MLB can just burn to the ground because no one watches that poopy potty stuff. So what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to join the movement of MLBLDM, Major League Baseball Lives Don't Matter. And yeah, let's just pull up to your nearest baseball field and just commit arson. Wreak havoc. Have fun with it. It's not that serious. All right, next up, what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to get a DUI and drive 100 miles an hour through a 25 zone. Now, the reason this is such a good idea is because not only are you gonna have a little bit of fun before you go to prison, but you're gonna be in prison for exactly 3 months. Well, it depends on the state, and actually it might be a little longer than 3 months. It might be more like 6 months, and hopefully you don't kill anyone, because then you might be in prison for the rest of your life. So please don't kill anyone. But yeah, if you land in prison and you're in there for exactly 3 months, that's the perfect way for the time to fly by. And that's all I have for you for today's video, the perfect off-season guide for a sports fan. I don't really want to have to say this, but you know I have to. Everything I said kind of like in the last half was a joke. Don't do any of that stuff. Don't do drugs. Don't commit arson. Don't drive a DUI and drive 100 miles an hour through a 25 zone. I was just joking, but I kind of had to say that as a disclaimer just in case some of you 20-year-old men with 2-year-old brains jump in your car and decide to actually do this. Yeah, don't do any of the things that I said in the second half. That was just a joke. YouTube, please don't take this video down. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to my channel, Animal Football. Once again, join the Discord. We will be doing fantasy football when the fall comes around, and I'm going to try to have more football and basketball related content coming out, mostly football though, because that's my main thing. Appreciate you guys watching. Take it easy. Love you guys.